Hi, I'm Brad from Brad's Vintage Collection. Today I'm doing a combo video of a pickup video of the very first Topps Playing Days card. I'm very excited to get this one. It's been on my list for a long time. Some of you may know what it is. A lot of you probably don't. Also some pickups from 1959 on some fill-ins for the Hall of Fame run that I have been working on all the Hall of Fame runs, and I was able to pick up a few cards to add to the run. And then with that, it kind of piggybacks on my favorite 5 from 1959. So at least at the end of 50s, I will continue back the series I started with the 60s, but I'm gonna go in reverse order. So I'll show my favorite 5 cards from 1959. First up of my pickups, I have the 1959 Words of Wisdom card with Don Larson and Casey Stengel. And I really like this card. I like what they did in 59. I'll talk more about it in my favorite 5, but the inverted view where the spotlight is in the background and then the pictures are in the foreground on the multiplayer cards. Love the image on this one where it looks like they're discussing grips. Stengel looks like he's got the change-up grip, and it looks like Larson has the fastball grip. So pretty cool shot of a probably opposed coaching opportunity, but love the Stengel teaching moment on this card. I think it's a really cool card. My second Mailday card is my 1959 Topps Whitey Herzog, and this one I really like. Logo on the lower left. It's the same elephant logo that the Oakland A's, or now the Las Vegas A's, use today, but the colors are different with a red theme instead of a green theme to go with the Kansas City A's colors. This is an early Playing Days card of Herzog. His rookie was 57, so I believe this is either a second or third card. I don't know for sure if he has a 58. If he does, I don't have it yet. But a Playing Days manager card of a Hall of Fame manager is my second pickup from the Mailday. The third Mailday card and pickup is the 1959 Orlando Cepeda All-Star. Topps really went ornate on the All-Stars in 1959. It has a red outline if it's a National League player, and it's blue around the outside if it is an American League player. And with this card, I just need one more card to complete the Hall of Fame All-Star run, and that's the Nellie Fox All-Star. So pretty close to completing the All-Star Hall of Fame subset in 1959. And with this pickup, I now have 55% of the cards from the 1959 Hall of Fame run. There's 67 in total, and I'm up to 59% of the 1950s Topps Hall of Famers. So getting really close to the 60% mark on the 50s. And my final pickup, and the one I'm really excited about, is the 1948 Topps Magic Photo Lou Boudreau. And I am working on a Boudreau player. I'm a Boudreau collector. I think I need 2 more to have all his cards, so I'm going to wait till I have all his cards to show the showcase. But this one is part of Topps' very first set that shows baseball images, and Boudreau is the only Playing Days card in that set. So this is the very first Topps Playing Days card of any Hall of Famer. There's a second Boudreau in this that's more of an inaction card, and it's actually called Cleveland Indians Third Baseman. The set is mostly retired players, but there's some current players from just the Cleveland Indians, and most of them are action shots. But the Boudreau gets a solo card, and it's also the #1 card in the set. So there's really no argument that this is the first Playing Days Hall of Famer made by Topps. I got this in a lot of 4 cards, and I'm actually going to sell the other 3 in the CIA March auction because they aren't Playing Days cards, and that's what I pretty much collect. There's a Sisler, there's a Hornsby, and there's a Mathewson. So if those are things you might be interested, look for them in the CIA auction. But for me, buying the lot, finally got this Boudreau. I've been looking for it for a long time. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, see if this works a little better, because the black background is showing my phone camera more than it's showing the card. So let's see if I can put around and see if I can get a better image that doesn't show the phone as much. This seems to capture it a little bit better. The exposure on this is really, really strong, as they were developed after being bought, either with water, or kids would probably most likely spit on them if they didn't have water around. So a lot of the pictures are really not that great, but this one was developed really strongly, and you got a nice clear image of Boudreau. The number 5 card of my favorite 5 from 1959 is the NL Hitting Kings. It's a multiplayer card with Richie Ashburn and Willie Mays. So two of the great outfielders of the 1950s in the National League, both in their road gray uniforms, which I really like. And I like the smile on both their faces and the way Willie's got his arms around Ashburn's shoulder. They did a really great job of reversing the design on the 1959 multiplayers, and they may be my favorite of all the Topps multis. So really cool card, and this is number 5 of my favorite 5, 1959. My number 4 of my favorite 5 from 1959 is the Mays Catch Baseball Thrills. I really like this Baseball Thrills series. It's more affordable than the regular cards, has a great run of Hall of Famers, and my favorite of them is the Mays Catch. I mean, this iconic catch from the World Series, and I like the way the artist decided to break it into 3 shots. The shot of him catching it over his head, running it down and catching it in front of him, turning around with the speed where his hat comes off, and that amazing throw that he made after making the catch. Just one of the greatest plays in baseball history, and I think it really is shown well in my number 4 card from 1959. The number 3 of my favorite 5 for 1959 is the 1959 Mickey Mantle. And I don't show a lot of mantles on this channel, primarily because some of the images aren't my favorites. Some of them I don't have, and also, I'm trying to find my favorite cards and not look at just the goats that we see all the time. But Topps really nailed it on this 59 Mantle with the red border around it, and just the way he's framed in that picture with a nice, serious, thoughtful look as he peers through the spotlight that the 59s have on the card, the bright Yankees logo on the lower left, and it's just the shadow of his hat brim on his face. To me, this is as good as it gets for a Mantle card for Topps, and one of my favorite Mickey Mantle cards, and really one of my favorite cards in the 1959 Topps run. So I think this would probably be up there in a lot of people's favorite 5 from 59 and maybe even higher, but this is my number 3 favorite card from the 1959 Topps set. The number 2 card from 1959 is the Fence Busters multi-card with Hank Aaron and Eddie Matthews, and I really love this card. It's got Wrigley Field in the background. You can see the scoreboard and part of the bleachers and some of the rooftops in the background, and I think Topps did a great job of choosing the green and yellow to go more with Wrigley Field than the Braves colors. In this one, it looks like Matthews is showing Aaron something on his bat, and Aaron's kind of making eye contact, listening to Matthews, and also kind of a little bit looking down at the bat at what Matthews is showing him. Just have always loved this image on this card, and being a Cub fan, having it at Wrigley Field is probably one of the biggest reasons this is my number 2 favorite card of 1959. And finally, my favorite card from the 1959 Topps set is the 1959 Frank Robinson. This card is just beautiful in every way. When the card has a black border like this, it always really stands out, and it stands out even more in the case of this Robinson because you have the black border of the card and then a white border around it. It's almost like a tuxedo look. The yellow Frank Robinson and Cincinnati Redlegs really pops off the image, and then I love the Redlegs logo with the walking baseball head mascot character. I'm blanking out on his name. I'm sure Rob and some other Reds fans will correct me on what his name is, but I'm blanking out on it right now. But Mr. Red is shown prominently in that shot of the mascot. And then just the pose that Frank has in that sleeveless uniform with the long sleeve red, doing the fielding pose with a full crowd behind him, and then the facsimile signature really looks great on it. Just perfect card, and my favorite card from the 1959 Topps Hall of Fame run. And to me, this was one of the easier choices for number 1 of any of them I've looked at. This one I knew before I even looked through my cards again was going to be my favorite, and picking the other rest of the top 5 was a little harder, but boy, I love this card, and I think it could be Frank Robinson's best card.
Thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate you looking at this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider hitting the subscribe button. Was super excited to get that Boudreau card, down to a couple more for his run. I'll probably wait to show them all off until I complete it, because I'm really close. 59 is one of my favorite sets. I think it's super underrated. I think the smaller picture turns people off, but I really like the design and the bright colors around the pictures.
and it was tough to narrow down my favorite 5, but I love the Maltese overall, and I think they hit a slam dunk in 1959, so of course there were a couple of those, and I really like that Baseball Thrills subset that I showed the maze of. Remember, if you're not excited to add it to your collection, you bought the wrong card. Thanks so much for watching.